somebody is telling you what's right. Now you're going to have to decide what you're gonna do the next step you take in life.
In my head. Yay! Welcome everybody. When I dream about you dancing. Look at that. I ran in here, got freshened up. I'm all ready to rock. Okay, can you hear? Ooh, I can bring Gary today. Welcome to LARA FM TV. I'm always pulling up the horns. I'm going to bring Mr. Jackson, Gary Jackson on board here. Can you hear? I'm bringing it. Oh, I was like, can Gary even hear me? I'm just getting used to all this. I love this though, isn't it? It's like therapeutic. It's sort of like nerve-wracking, like because you actually have to do stuff. You can't just like show up and like, you know, for me, it's like a show. I know my stage. I'm comfortable with it. I'm like, boom, I do this live. But this, I'm like, oh, I have 10 minutes. What should I put up? It's so funny.
And we get to hang out. Whole thing. I get to hang out with you without bugging the shit out of you. Yeah. Isn't that awesome?
Gary, what do you mean bugging the shit out of me?
I just kind of joking. You know how I am.
You mean bugging the shit out of me, like, because we go on long-ass conversations about so much important things that end up being so therapeutic.
Yeah, whatever, right? You know, it's definitely all good.
Yeah. Okay, so you can hear me perfectly. I'm assuming everybody else can hear me then,
I can hear you just fine.
Okay, good. Cool. We have Jackson now. I can see everybody's comments. This is excellent. I feel very... This is good too. You can hear the mic and I can hear you. I feel like flaps and handlings. There's no flaps.
I know. Yeah.
Only
There's no need for handlings.
Yeah. All right. Good. Welcome everybody. So today, as you can see, we have Mr. Gary Jackson Moorhead here. And I used to call this man Mr. Jackson. I know you're laughing, but I just went back to like, and I remembered how small I was. I was quite small, actually.
Standing out at Happy Valley here in the Mr. Jackson. Yeah.
I was like 6 or 7, I think, when I first like saw you, and I was like, oh, he's a really big man. And then I was like, oh, he's nice, but he's also like, everybody kind of was like, oh, Mr. Jackson said it has to go this, like, so I was just like, oh, he's the boss, you know? All right. So I'm sure people who are watching already know you because you've been on Aaron's show and, you know, and our whole SPTV community is, you know, someone's talking about Jackson or Mr. Jackson or Gary or someone. Oh, well, I think Jackson would know about that at this time. But basically what we're talking about today is the Int Ranch, the cadet, the last thing was the cadet, but that's going to be an ongoing thing. So what I was what I wanted to do today specifically with Gary here is to kind of connect up timelines and things that were happening with cadets at times and what was happening at Gold and why were cadets sent certain areas during certain times and what would happen during like flood drills and fire drills and things like this. And the reason Gary is here is because Gary was the security chief Gold during many of the chunks of years that I was at the Int Ranch as a child / cadet / whatever the fuck else you want to say / Scientologist. So none of that is applicable.
Yeah. A grooming, a grooming slave.
Yeah. I mean, it's weird to. Here's another thing. It's weird to, in this outside world, to say, you know, they were grooming us as like, you know, as child executives for this, and somebody's like, so you were a slave, and it's like, but then it's like, oh, wait a minute. I've learned history now, and the same things that were happening with slavery is literally what was happening with us as kids. We have no choice about our future. Our destiny was already put out for us. This is what you're going to do. You're not going to, there are certain things you're going to be forced to do. You're not allowed to do. There's some things you're going to like to do just because you naturally, you know, you will.
Yeah. Our compulsion was to,
we have to get permission for everything.
Something done for something else to make them happy. Our
100%.
compulsion was to get something done.
My job is done. My job is good if I'm making my boss or the senior or somebody else happy.
Nothing to do with our own happiness. It had to do with being satisfactory and not living in a fear factory. That was, as long as you didn't reap the fallout from upsetting somebody, you were surviving.
Yeah, and right, exactly. It wasn't fear factory unless, like, you felt, it's a weird thing. You didn't feared if you were literally doing whatever you're doing for somebody else. If you were just not paying attention to yourself and I'm just doing this because so-and-so told me to get this done and that's my mission and that's my job, then there's no fear. You feel like you're, stable, independent. You're doing the right thing. You feel like you're on purpose, so it's hard to shake that from somebody when you've been so trained and groomed to be like, hey, if you're on the rails, you're going to be a good person. If you're off the rails, you're not. You know what I mean?
Even to the point where you can say that we were allowed time to look after ourselves, such as do our own laundry and clean our own room. We weren't doing our laundry and cleaning our room to satisfy our own needs and maintain our own hygienic standards. We were doing our laundry and cleaning our rooms to pass an inspection and to not be judged upon.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like, even in moments where we're, folding our laundry or whatever, it's kind of like, yeah, we think we're having our personal first dynamic moment or whatever. And really we're just kind of going, oh, good, that, this will be good. Oh, good, my uniform's ready for tomorrow. Like, you're still in the world of whatever you're doing for somebody else.
When and if we had the chance to buy our own clothes, you were out shopping for, I like this outfit.
Somebody else.
I can't wait to wear these shoes. That particular jacket or pair of pants or shirt makes me feel comfortable. No, you always made those purchases with the end result of making and satisfying the groups happy and satisfying their needs, not yours.
Yeah, 100%. And even, I mean, to put it in the perspective, oh, look at all these cute comments. You guys are so sweet. You guys are all badass babes, by the way. Everybody in this community, like, there's just gorgeous beauty in everybody and in all ages and all, like, purities. It's just amazing. I'm looking at all the comments, but so Gary Gare, Mr. Jackson.
Yes, ma'am.
So one of the things I was going to quickly answer some quick questions from the last. I told everybody that I'll answer the last, if there were any questions that I missed or something in the chat or whatever. So let me quickly answer those because this will answer a lot of similar things for, like, gold stuff. And maybe you can pick up on some of the things that, like, that will come up. Okay. So what somebody asked me and I didn't write your names. So I'm sorry, but you'll know it's you if I ask the question.
Believe me, I share in that challenge, Laura. It's as much.
It's like a whole thing. It's like you're a whole theater over here.
Yeah, and
I mean, I'm used to it, thank God, in the stage, but like at technology, like real technology, I'm like, yes, all the help somebody.
You're so naturally wanting to thank everybody personally for joining and listening and making a comment, and when I read their comment. Such as I see Goldie, oh shit, is Jackson streaming too? Greetings from Dallas, from Kaz Farns. We could spend the whole show. It may be interesting to you and me, but it's not interesting to our listeners, and that's kind of the troublesome. But we're reading and we're scrolling through as fast as we can, and that's where my eyes kind of wander off.
Okay, good. So you can help me with that, Gary, because I love that. I'm already trying to be like, not letting my PTSD kick in while I'm trying to keep a smooth conversation and, like, just tell the story as it goes and like whatever, bring up whatever needs to be brought up. So I guess, the first question here was, and if you need if there's anything, I need a star or maybe you keep track of the questions and that way I don't have to do it until the very end or something.
What's in the jar, by the way? Is that just ice cold water?
No. It's like a peachy, bubbly, kind of nice little spritzer.
Nice. I've got unsweetened tea.
Good job, Gary. You're so. Oh, that's yeah. Is that your code word for something else?
No. Yeah, you
Okay.
know, we could talk about alcohol. It's just alcohol never got the bug with alcohol.
You're lucky you didn't.
Yeah.
You're lucky
Well,
you
lucky
didn't.
or not, I mean, like I say, I really wish I could enjoy a Cheech and Chong moment by smoking
Oh, we
some
will,
good
Gary.
bud.
You are not going anywhere without us doing that. 100%.
Well, I can't because
Well,
the
whenever you're
moment.
done doing that, you know,
Well, right now it's
and
my
when
way
there's
of
a
making a
month
living.
moment where you
Yeah.
can,
Let it go through
you
my
call the
system
boss.
and
You
not
call
be
the boss.
detected.
Yeah, no, you're such a good
Yeah.
person, Bubs. Okay, so here, quickly, the first questions are: what kind of statistics did kids have? What kind of statistics did the cadet? I was going to say kids cadets, but I was like, good. Are they kids? Are they cadets? What are they? What kind of stats did they have to turn in, and what did they do? Like, what were the stats? So
And these are basically numbers that every individual had to basically keep track of and turn in on a weekly basis to prove their worthiness, to show from one week to the next whether it was picking a crate of apples. If you got one crate of apples this week, your goal was to get two crate of apples the next week, and you had to post that up on a graph showing its highs and lows, so
statistics.
somebody could evaluate it over a week, 2 weeks, 4 weeks, a year's basis, and determine what they're going to do to you. So that would just go ahead with
No,
where
and
I wanted to
also
fill
no.
that in.
This is great. The other thing is,
Yeah, the old Thursday bite too. I really don't know how the frickin' fact Goldie knows this details with never ever having even been a Scientologist, but she knows.
oh,
Wicked.
Goldie knows.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say?
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Gary,
we
you
were talking
cannot
about-
distract me with those comments.
I know.
All the if I start reading, I'm gonna start having conversations with
Yeah.
Catherine and everybody in the chat.
I know.
Okay, so what I was gonna say actually about the stats is, so if 1 week we pick 2 baskets of strawberries and the next week you pick 1.5, you're down stat.
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to be clear on that. It's
Yeah.
not like whether you were working. It's not like when you were down stat you were unproductive.
Right.
It's just like, oh, that's just the statistic of the week, and you were trying your best to do whatever, and that's just the outcome.
Yeah.
So-
and I want to add a little color to that, and that say from Thursday to Thursday, you achieved picking 1 basket of strawberries, and that basket contains 100 strawberries within itself. So say by Friday, now in the week before you picked a half a basket, so say 50 strawberries. So by Scientology standards, you're an upstat. You've increased your productive, yay for you. You get to live another day, another week. And so in pursuit of, by the end of the next week, you want to get 2 baskets. You produce 2 baskets on Friday. The next day after it, you won't be
I forgot about that.
Yeah,
Even
you
we
would-
did that as cadets.
Yeah,
we did
and
that
you-
as like, we were like, oh no. It's just that you just didn't want to get in trouble. You didn't want to
Right.
be behind. You wanted to be, okay, good, I got and this, I have a head so that I'm not gonna fucking even, I had a great week this week, and then now
Yeah.
this next week I'm gonna get busted. Like, fuck that.
Well, you would still be living through that following week's lowered condition from the week before, even though your production was clearly already up over the week before on that following Friday, right? So I'm just trying to convey to people what it was like, trying to prove your worthiness. From our listeners' standpoint, all they can reference is them as a current employee for wherever they work, whether it's their own business or for a company or corporation. You know, the fact that you're employed is pretty much a standard in which you live by. You to show up to work at the same place the next day, and you're contributive and you're not damaging stuff. That's the working world. Well, in the C organization, ours is by demonstrated statistics. So, like I said, you could have been down by 1 Thursday, doubled your production the very next day, but you still had to live that following week under that previous week's lowered condition status. So you would still be looked down upon as a down statistic, and thus you'd have to endure what it was like by living those lowered statistic standards. So our Laura's and I's motivation, the way in which we were perceived and taken by the group was pretty much only acknowledged on a week-to-week basis.
100%.
every
And
week. Yeah.
I do say, I just read a comment that said, yo, Lara says 100% a lot. I'm like, that's
all right.
It's just
If
like
we
when
all-
we're definite about something, I'm like, well, that's 100%.
That's right.
The other thing with that is, yeah, I guess I talked about the production level, like, of it. It's that there's also this thing of like, are you false reporting? And so you just, there's also like, we know the statistics of power condition and power change. These are all so we know, oh, if eventually I'm having a good graph, if something bad does happen and they try to get me in trouble, well, I'm going to be up statistics, and per L. Ron Hubbard policy, you can get away with murder. If your statistics are up, you know, that he literally writes this in an upstat group. Joe could go, or what is it, like on like each group member is struggling. Oh, no. The downstat group, an out ethics person would just go on and on with their pins. He's talking about giving, you know, whatever. But he says in an upstat group, if your stats are up, basically you can get away with murder. Right.
And that literally was the case.
Yeah. So there's very much a lot of attention. Whatever Gary's saying in terms his reality of what his experience that happened at the gold base is exactly. I want to make this very clear. The reason I'm bringing Gary and me and having gold base and the ranch together is because the ranch was a mimic of whatever the gold base was doing. So whatever they established at the gold base would then be established at the Int Ranch through the cadets, these children. So this is why if he's talking about something, just know that's now established for cadets at the Int Ranch. Because we're supposed to be the future execs leaving the Int Ranch and going this at the time. The whole time I was at the ranch, the purpose was for us to go from the gold base and go to Int base once we graduated.
Right.
So let's also talk about that. Graduating would mean either you turned 18 and you were legally, which in our child brains, I had no idea that's what 18 meant.
That meant, yeah.
I don't even know that it was a legal thing. I just thought, oh, I guess you're an adult at 18. It didn't mean like there's no legal thing in it. In fact, there's no other system in the outside world that we even knew about that would even bring our brains thinking, oh, why is 18 an age that you're an adult?
Right. That's right.
We just knew the WOG world thinks this, and for me, I just thought, oh, that's just when either you are technically an adult. That just meant to me that you didn't have to finish you didn't have to finish the schooling. You didn't have to come to the ranch anymore. Okay, so here's two things. Aaron's giving Aaron is giving me some good advice. He said, click maybe this. Is it this? Oh, what a sweetie pie. Aaron. Aaron is like my new manager for my little show here. Just kidding.
10%
between him and the SPT.
10% to Aaron.
He's laughing right now. Okay. So, that's what was I just saying about? Oh, so the schooling. So when a cadet finishes their GED, so you either do enough schooling at the Int Ranch. Let me rewind. Sorry. When a cadet seems smart enough and literate enough to possibly join the gold base, and maybe he's only 16, like my brother, or 17, and they didn't finish the schooling, but they're like, hey, we could really use it. Like, he got approved to go here. You know, all the cadets eventually get approved, and then they go to the gold base to join the Sea Org. They go to the gold base to do the EPF from the Int Ranch, and then they join gold or CMO or whatever. They get posted at the base.
Yeah, and part of it was your demonstrated competence too, like your ability to listen and do,
and physically do stuff too. Yes. Like, yeah, right. Oh, I'm a young buffer, good looking. I could do. Let's throw him in the Sea Org, right?
Yeah.
Let's let him run for David Miscavige. So, when they do bring you to gold, and because somebody chooses, oh, you're good looking enough or whatever the heck it is to. I'm just saying good looking, meaning like, why would they let a 16-year-old or 17-year-old boy, a young boy or older, a young man, older boy, go join the gold base and wear a job and a post just like a regular person, but then send them back to the ranch on Sunday to do schooling so that it's legal. Do you know what I mean? Why not just leave them at the ranch until they finish finishing their childhood? Because there is no childhood. It's just like, we have to legally kind of show that they do go and do schooling. So a lot of these people never finish any education, which they're not getting proper education the whole time. It's just for looks and legal. If they could have it, and so that they have some sort of knowledge, so they don't look like idiots when they're going to reg money from like a really rich, you know, wealthy, sort of educated person out in the real world. They're gonna be like, how is this idiot gonna get money from me when he doesn't even know what the, you know, whatever the, I was gonna say a million things that I'm still learning about.
It's all right. We all go through it, Laura. Nothing
the
wrong.
Wars and whatever. I'm just saying history. So it's just, and a lot of history is wrong because things like this were not allowed to be had. Our stories were taken away. They were stolen. They were rewritten. And then nothing has been said about it. When none of that happened, it was like a completely different thing. Can you imagine all the slavery that did happen? But all of that was happening because things were just wiped on it, or completely obviously known and completely okayed and as a normal thing to be treating other human beings like this. But also that it was just a normalized known thing, like, oh yeah, we're doing it, and it just, nobody said anything. Everybody just stayed in there. It's like an abusive relationship. If you're just in it, as long as you follow the rules, then you're fine. You're not going to get hit. It's the same thing.
Right. That's right.
Whew. Okay. So all of that. So we were going for the schooling. So basically there were times when I would see my brother, we would wait until like, I keep saying kids because psychologically I've taught my brain like, oh, children are children and adults are adults. So I keep saying kids, but it was my brother, who's an older person than me at the time. The kids, the younger adults that were sent to Gold Base to join the Sea Org, they would have to come on Saturdays or Sunday to do schooling. And that was just for legal things. And also so they could hurry up. They were also like, maybe you can hurry up before you turn 18 and get your GED instead anyways, so that you could just get back on post at Gold Base. That was the whole thing. So there's the connection of the schooling and the education or whatever on that. Like in terms of the cadets and the kids between Golden Era Productions joining the Sea Org at Gold, and then or how would they get any sort of education or whatever. That's what that was. Okay, so back to the what kind of stats did kids have to keep them turned in? Because so we are mimicking Gold. So Golds, they got to turn stats in every week, Thursday before Tooth. So that's how we got into that. It would be simple things like Gary was saying, strawberry pound. So we would actually we'd have a whole, I actually want to pull, I just don't want to mess up this stream, Gary.
What are you wanting to do?
I have a bunch of pictures from the ranch.
Then
old pictures.
Down below there's a
yeah, Aaron did help me with this, but I just don't want to mess it up. I'm going to try this, guys.
Yeah, go right ahead.
I'm going to just try to pull up one picture.
All we can do is fuck up and laugh about it now, right, Laura?
Hey, guys, knock it off. Knock it off. I don't need the N theta. I don't need this N theta. Yeah. All right, I want to pull up, like, I don't know, maybe a picture of the kids of us. Oh, well, I'm going to keep that open because Aaron said if I open them up, then they will show up on the panel. So I'll keep them open because then you guys can kind of get the idea of how the ranch sort of looked a little bit. I'm going to get much better at this on future things. So I'll be like popping up pictures and everything. And you guys will start to really get the feel of kind of like how everything was.
While you're surfing there, I'm going to answer a few quick questions.
Yes, please do. You're the best.
Just because somebody asked, did they teach us about aliens? No, they didn't.
Not at all.
Let's see.
That would have gotten us out of our head, you know.
Like they have to take GEDs, and that was simply done not for the child or the kids not for the kids' benefit, but for the church's legal representation purpose. Someone's barbecuing a steak while we're sitting here. That's freaking awesome.
Hell yeah! Give me some of that barbecue.
Yeah, someone I saw earlier was having a Coke and rum. Awesome.
Right,
keep doing what you're doing, Laura. I know
I am. You're amazing, Gary. You're making this really easy for me.
Somebody was acknowledging Aaron with his conversation with Serge. Serge is one awesome dude.
Very good. Yep. I love that they had that. That was really amazing and important.
I'm curious if they talk about aliens. They'll know the hand orange covering eyes. What were they? taught at school. What we were taught at school was the bare minimum, 3 R's, reading, writing, and arithmetic. Nothing elaborate. No school projects like building a volcano, stuff like that. It was just
no. We did do that actually, but that was so rare. It was like, yeah, I do remember that volcano thing. In fact, every time I scrub a toilet or clean something in my house or apartment or for somebody else, I'm literally like, vinegar and baking soda will really,
Yeah, well, there
Crazy.
you go.
Yeah.
So yes,
I can pop in whenever. Just tell me.
Yeah, didn't Scientologists cram the kids with the info they need to get their GEDs? That's from Love Sherlock. Yes, they did. That was pretty much it. That was the sole purpose. Again, like I said. So behind on all this, is there a list of them? Yeah, someone's generating a list of all the SP channels. I don't have the reference to it now, but it's out there. Oh, Goldie gives a reference as to where they are. If you go over to, yeah.
Goldie is awesome. Thank you. Okay, so Gary, I'm gonna talk a little bit, guys, and
yeah, go ahead.
Hopefully I'll do this right, but whatever. Yeah. So here, first I'll just show you like the ranch. We made
Jefferson Hawkins is in the house too.
Oh, I needed. We did talk early. Oh, so and Jeff, by the way, he messaged me, but I didn't remember talking to him a little bit. He mentioned that.
Yeah.
There's other pictures I want to pull up. But I just want to give you guys an idea. But he did mention some things that we had talked a little, not like through the thing in 2017. So you could see that I was like still researching like who I would like secretly as I was declared, still trying to figure out like who will give me any information about my parents.
There's somebody from North Carolina, Clearwater, Gettysburg, Lake Chelan, Washington. Oh,
I'm going to share this one.
North of me. Someone else in my hood. That's out at the ranch. That's in the old
So
garage.
this is kind of how the course rooms would look when they would come to the ranch.
There's the bridge and there's the
if you zoom in, can you zoom in and see? There's the tone. So I would show you another thing here. I found a reference where L. Ron Hubbard under the children's policy says the course rooms should look like this. They should have emblems of the Apollo ship and the whatever and structures of Scientology and pictures. And so he specifically says this is how a course room should look. Right. And this is just a regular, the cadet org course rooms. This ain't no fancy.
Dictionaries on the desk with the
demo kit, because every single thing has to have Webster's, Young Readers, if specific dictionaries. L. Ron Hubbard doesn't allow us to just take any old-fashioned dictionaries. Like he specifically says you can only use these certain dictionaries. Like, because if you go get a psychology dictionary, I'm sure it'd start teaching you things that you'd have a lot more questions asking L. Ron Hubbard about.
Yep.
But yeah, so though you can see, I mean, I'm probably just zooming into my own screen right now. I'm like, if you look close,
it
doesn't help if I go closer. But if you look close, it's standard. It just has the demo kit, the derivation dictionary, the regular dictionary, and the idioms dictionary or something. There's three. You could see they all have. So imagine you're not coming to school and it's like, oh, we get to like have a whole, it's just very standard, clean. It's like,
as you see, there's no A, B, C, D, E, F, G. The alphabet's not up along 100%.
This is what I'm trying to get. I'm like, what am I not saying?
A little pony, paper doll ponies in the side, and little paper mache projects that the kids worked on. None of that. No U.S. map. No map of the world. No historical figures of the subjects that they're studying. Representing the subjects that they're studying. It's literally just focused on the significance of the information in the books that they're provided, and quickly get through it, cram it down their throats, see that they can answer the right questions on the tests, and eventually move on from there. And then literally that day that they move on, that's the last day of education, shaking hands with education in today's society you'll ever see. So,
Somebody's asking, what is those scales or framed things with the yellow and weird
that
block?
Is the picture on the left and the back is the
tone scale.
The one on the left on the back
is the bridge.
That's the gradient scale showing the technical side and the spiritual counseling side of the bridge from the bottom to the top. And then the picture framed on the right is the illustrated tone scale from -40 to +40, with 0 in the middle, and 0, I believe, representing death. And can you believe that
-0, Gary, -0,
yeah, but
body death.
Once you die, you can still represent some sort of
you can come out of the mud, you can come out of the grave.
Yeah, what the hell?
Remember, wait, do you remember the auditing film where they throw the cans down the grave?
Yeah.
And he's holding the cans and he's in
and
he's like pulling himself up with auditing cans. I forgot about that. Oh my God. Okay, I got to remove this now. So remove. Boom. I did. Good job. Thank you.
And someone says, amazing, no huge pic of L. Ron Hubbard in there. Well,
no. That's on the other walls.
Wall,
yeah, 100%. That's completely. In fact, let me try to bring up some other stuff. You keep going, Gary.
Jackson,
okay.
Did you ever go to real school? I did, because I was just finished elementary school, looking forward to high school, and moving on with my first girlfriend ever from elementary school, moving over to high school in Diamond Bar, California, and was scooped up and recruited in the Sea Organization that summer of 1979.
Nice. Okay, I'm going to share this. Do you see this?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
All right, so this is Renee Burther.
Well,
do you see me hovering over or no? Do you see my arrow?
First of all, no, I don't. I don't see you. You can't see mine. But first of all, there's the representation of the uniforms, the colors.
Right, red, because it matches. Okay, so we have everything was red and whitish, right? Is that the idea?
Got the blue ones, and then you got the burgundy red ones there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So the blue ones, no. Let me tell you about this. The blue ones are actually the governess. The other ones are actually sweaters that they made us wear. They were ranch sweaters that Renee Burther right there in the back, the bigger person. She was a fucking cunt. Excuse my language. And hopefully
only women deserve the right to say that word.
My therapist will help me deal with that someday. But she spanked and abused the crap out of us like crazy. But she also, like you said, like you taught me, Gary, she also was raised at the ranch as a cadet who was illiterate for whatever reason, and couldn't go to Gold.
Yeah.
Whether she had some, ADD or whatever it was, and I'm sure she did. The thing is that they trained her to be such a psycho bitch. And she spanked the crap out of us, and she was only 18. She had just become an adult because she turned 18. And she was still on Math Book 4 while I was like on Math Book 5, but she was spanking the shit out of me. Her, Casavius Tabioyan, Barbara Tompkins, Ann Weber.
God, Ann Weber was such a short. Yeah. Anyways, I was gonna Ann Weber. I just you throw these names out there, and I'm just remembering these otherwise gentle, nice souls that were groomed and directed.
Well, I said on the last, I think on the second episode, that Ann Weber originally didn't spank so hard.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, once she was like,
put some stink on it.
She didn't decide. She was ordered and forced to. She was literally, I saw her eyes watering one time when she was spanking somebody harder than and I could tell that she was just like, okay, just go back. And then there were some times where she was running 30 children and she lost it, and she was like, you get here, you get her spanking now, like, but her own son Ben Weber, his dad is Jeff Weber. He was at Gold Base.
He was the landscape architect. That guy was really talented.
See guys, Gary knows everything. Like if I mention one thing about a kid and their parent at the Gold Base, Gary will know what their job was at the Gold Base. It's like crazy. That's why I'm like, Gary, you just need to help me, and this is so perfect. All right, so what kind of stats did they keep? They kept whatever their job was, whether it was like right here. How many trees did we plant? This was no joke. How many pear trees? How many apple trees? How many donuts did we make around the things? And, how many square footage of the field was de-weeded? So each project was like, how many trees? So this project you see here on the screen right now is how many trees were planted. That's one statistic. The other statistic is how many donuts were made around the trees that were secure and tested. So like when the water would flush or it would rain, they were still solid in there.
I was going to help our listeners because by your description, they would take it as though we were planting donuts. No, donuts around the base of the tree is literally the circle. It basically was a moat to contain water. And it was usually 1.5 times the circumference of the drip line of the tree. So it would keep the root ball of the tree moist and ability to grow because it was a very dry environment. So that's what a donut is. We call them donuts because everything had to have its own language.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's true. I don't even know as a earthing person what is it actually called. I still say put a donut around that plant, put a donut around that tree. Hey, don't let the dogs piss there, put a donut around it.
Yeah, so that's I'm just
all right.
out
So the stats would be donuts. You know how many donuts were made around the tree, trees planted, and then how much square footage of that area that were around was de-weeded, meaning no more weeds and none of that grass was there. It was just pure, beautiful, clean, perfect environment. I'm gonna give
you the rocks and stuff like that.
Yeah. And then the other statistic was, which you don't see here, but is the irrigation. We would put in all the irrigation. We would put in all the PVC piping. We would dig trenches all along all of the trees, all around the whole quarter that would run water pipes all around. And then we would have T-tape and tubes that would drip, and we would be in charge of all those, make sure all of them dripped properly. Basically, if a tree was dying 3 months from late, then they would be like, oh, so-and-so from the governance group didn't do that properly.
Right.
So, yeah. Okay, let me also remove this. And then I want to show another picture so that I'm still kind of answering this question of what kind of projects, because I just want to show you guys, like, literally, I'm not kidding. Literally, I'm not kidding when I say that word a lot. When we say that 100%. When we 100% did every job. 100%.
Literally. Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
So here, I'm going to try to.
Someone says, that's it. I'm going to get me some donuts. Yeah. Go to a voodoo donut shop, baby. Get yourself some voodoo donuts.
Okay. So now I'm going to share this. Boom.
That actually gives me an idea. I think I'm going to go there one day and see if they can make me a Dave Miscavige donut on an apple box.
All right. So I'm going to share this. This is like the end product of something that
One of the greenhouses.
Yeah, we built all the greenhouse. Sorry, is this when I do that? Do you hear that?
That's okay. Yeah, it's not as popping as it seems on your end.
It seems in my ear. Okay, I need to knock that off. Okay, so you see how even in between the boxes, there's no weeds and stuff. It's completely clean and like, these boxes are cabbage. These ones are carrots. These ones they're very like there's no weeds in the things. Even the plants around that you even see in the very front of the photo that are not in the box, they're just popping up. Those were like natural bee plants, so the bees would come and naturally do their things. Anyways, we built these greenhouses, including the poles. I keep pointing as if like my fingers in the photo. Well, if you see the poles, I just have to describe it with my words.
The arching roof is made out of
PVC metal poles. With these ones were metal poles because we for years tried to do the PVC piping where they were easily bendable, and then obviously in the desert there would be windstorms and all that, and it would just rip them right off. So we got it down to
quickly, Laura, your donut story, our little donut stories, Jeff. Now I'm craving a donut. A lot of people are like, I'm going to go out and get me some donuts. So,
yeah. Very cute. Y'all can send me some donuts, too.
So, keep on. Yeah, your elevated planters there.
Yeah, so I also want to make a memory, in case you didn't watch episode 1 and 2, that every single one of these vegetables coming out of these beautiful boxes are going straight to Gold Base. All of this goes to Gold Base and to Celebrity Center. We actually I remember I was like, Savius Tabioyan. He brought me one time. There was a weird relationship with this person because he used to spank the shit out of me and shit and like blah, blah, blah. And then there would be times where we would actually connect with like animals, horseback riding. If my dad got a day off one time, he decided, let's go horseback riding with Casavius and, Jean or whatever her name was. I forget.
Jean Tomazovic.
Jean Tomazovic. Oh my God. See, it just comes right in my freaking brain.
Or Jean
And
Paul.
so we
Her
went,
maiden
and
name
there's
was Jean
more.
Paul.
Yeah, and there's these moments of like we did have connections where with these same abusers where they were actually, and I guess that's a normal abusive sort of relationship, but when you're programmed with L. Ron Hubbard's policies to be the abuser, it feels like you didn't do that once you've left. You're kind of like, oh, well, that it feels like that a bit to a degree, unless you really start looking into, damn, that was me doing that. I was doing that to those children, whether I knew what I was doing or not. And this is why I want people to talk about, like, come up and talk about it. Like, you're gonna feel better. Look at me, I'm freaking having little panic attacks here and there, and like just pushing myself through all this because it is so important to say it. This will actually clear all this up and make everything beautiful and strong again. Like, we can make people healthy and strong by being completely open about this. It makes every individual feel really good to talk about this. So if you did something fucked up for however many years or whatever, just come forward and talk about it. Say, what did I do? And please remind me, because a lot of it, or if I'm not going to be there to remind you, start listening to people's stories and videos, and that will start bringing up a lot of stuff, just like it is for us, you know?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay. So yeah, we built all this stuff. And by the way, there was like 20 of these greenhouses. This is just one. So.
And Love Sherlock, I got to say, you seem to be, we're obviously closer than you think. So McLaughlin, I'm well aware of. Yeah. she's just referencing where there's a voodoo donut. That's all.
Oh,
I love it that I've never met these folks, and people are in my hood, and like, holy smokes, I had no idea. We'd be driving by each other every day. So what else you got on your list there, Laura? You got another picture?
So statistics are all these things. So like, you know, just what I had just shown you. Yeah. Okay, good. I'm checking that off. Y'all get the stats. It could be like, if you were the gopher IC, how many gophers did you kill in all of those, you know, cabbages, which is great. Cause they're like, good, you got those suckers, because those are eating the executives' vegetables.
Well, your statistic would be,
so you're saving the
0.
planet.
Yeah, your statistic would ideally be 0. Any gophers found would be a minus. So if a gopher showed up, your statistics would be down, in a sense. I'm not saying that necessarily was the case with the kids, but in some instances, that's how statistics worked. Ideally, there would be 0. And you not having any control over a gopher showing up.
Yeah, but what if David Miscavige walks by and he's like, I just saw a gopher. False report.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
False report. You're going to the RPF.
Exactly. Just like that. Just like that. Light switch on your life.
All right. So we got that on statistics. Boom. So somebody asked me, did I pull this picture up? I wonder if I could show it on
someone asked us, did you have to discipline or punish the other children?
Did I?
Yeah, someone asked. Tim Harris.
Some, like, in terms of, I wasn't allowed to spank another child, no, because that's like the adult's job. Like, they need to, which the adult was an 18-year-old or 17-year-old.
You weren't going to bypass the adults of issues.
Yeah, I'm not doing their job. We actually joke around about it. The kids, when no adults around, they're like, you're going to get a spanking, so bend over. We would like joke and be like, and I'd be like, ow, you actually hit me really hard. Like, they, you know, like, so we were just joking, like, but that would be a thing. Like, we're practicing to play with guns. It's like the same thing. As if anyways. But the other thing was I was forced to, so like if you were late, remember I did talk about this and other things. If you were a cadet and you were late for muster or anything like that, they would have us, I hate to say this, but the person we know that we're not going to speak too much of, kind of started this thing called To the 11s. They would say it's basically marching, where we'd be marching for 2 hours doing 11s. They would say 11s forward march, and they would start the 2-hour clock, and there would be, 10 of us marching to doing 11 steps left, but without anything. We have to be quiet and remember on the 11 you do to the rear. And we would just do 11 to the rear, 11 to the rear for 2 hours straight. So sometimes when one of the adults had to run off and do something, or they knew, oh, this is going to take a while, they would have me or one of the kids that knew how to really march really well or whatever, run the group.
You see it?
So that they didn't have to sit there and do it.
What if someone had to tinkle or 2 or 1.
Nope,
and
absolutely not. And
no
also,
drinks.
sometimes they would make us stand at attention for 2 hours. So we're and some of the kids would faint because their legs were locked. You're not allowed to swap a fucking fly.
See,
you
this
have
is
to
the shit that I
confront
was
it. So
becoming
they use
aware of.
Scientology. They use Scientology in this too.
Yeah.
So they've got this military, and then they use the Scientology, like, get your TRs, and if the fly is going to, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
confront
yeah.
it.
You're
not a body. You're not a body. You're spirit. It
If
has
a
nothing
fly
to
was
do
sitting
with
there
it.
sucking on some juices coming out of your
And then
eyeball or
somebody
your
would
nose.
go, oh, because you could hear the fly, like,
Yeah.
and you see them swap, and then the adult would be like, restart. Zachary Ellis just swapped the fly. 2 hours again.
See, this is the shit I was starting to suspect, Laura, that was going on out there.
Oh,
That
this
just-
is
just
just little, like,
before-
this is just coming up in conversation.
Yeah, no,
So-
I know. It's just that. I mean, that's yeah. Jesus Christ.
So let me finish with the answering that question, because they just whoever asked that question made me realize something. They also enforced things like having other cadets run the governess group, even though they were just 16 or 17, which came up like Sarah Willett, Steve Willett's daughter. She was like she was actually good friends with my sister. They actually look very similar. They look similar. Maybe that's just what I think. But and one day, I don't know whether she had done something wrong or something, or they needed to toughen her up, but they put her in charge of running the governess group with Renee Berther. Like they're too young. One's 18 who just turned 18, but she's completely illiterate and completely trained to just like fucking treat. I don't know what to call it. What do you call that? Somebody who's just fucking
Assault?
telling you, but then is nice. No, but then they're nice when you're doing the right thing. And they're like, okay, you can go get a drink of water. Cause Megan, you wait. Christina finished her target first. It's to go get a sip of water.
Yeah. Like
every
reward.
day.
As
Every
a
day.
reward, not
Right,
to
you got your
humanly
water.
need. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not as
And
a
then
human need.
you guys are really lucky. Saturday, you guys did amazing on your fire breaks. Oh my God. Please tell me I have that photo of the fire breaks up here.
Guess how those came about.
Wait, explain, Gary.
Well,
explain.
I was in charge of the safety for the base, so I had, I got a long history with helping, keeping the fire threat at bay for the property, and that responsibility at the main compound out of Gilman Hot Springs extended out to Happy Valley, and of course the labor force was the children, and they used to go out, and I initially had a dozer set out there, and who put a scratch line in and established the fire break, which is basically the break in the vegetation down to mineral soil, and in the event of a wildland fire, that would help protect the property. So the kids themselves would go out there and they would rake it and de-weed it as time went on, and that was part of their responsibilities to keep the base protected
From getting burnt up. And
in the event of a wildland fire. That's
and
correct.
so they did this at the ranch. They did this at the
And at the base.
and at the base. They didn't just do it at the ranch and around the ranch properties. They did this all the way down the ranch road, all the way out to the Indian reservation, so that even if the Indians started a fire, which they did a bunch, and the heat out there near that dump that I was talking about in my last episode that I got hypnotized by, like, wow, we could be making things out of all this junk, because I just never saw a junkyard. But like anywhere around there, all that stuff in the heat and with drunk Indians, like, oh, throwing the boom, there would be a fire. So we ended up doing fire breaks pretty much all over.
Do you remember Tato?
Yeah, Tato.
Tato, remember?
Yeah,
how fat he was.
Gary, and Renee, he did something with Renee Berther, that person that you guys just saw on the last slide who was running us and spanking us as like the governess.
That guy was so fat, he had an ass crack in the front and back. Like, I remember
and he stunk like crazy.
Yeah.
Wait, so let me show you this picture. Oh, wow, I'm totally getting distracted.
So you knew Tato, huh? Wow, amazing.
Right here, bam. This might be, do you guys see that?
There's the fire break.
So there's how many kids here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. About 30 kids. This is what we would do
appropriately in the attire.
In
like,
civvies.
The girl.
So
in the
they
foreground,
also
look at the
wear. So
shoes.
this was like a Renos day where they would make us wear civvies because our uniforms would just get destroyed and all this crap as we're going through the hills.
Not wearing the proper shoes for shovels and you were
no. If they put us in civvies too, because I mean, yes, I'm agreeing with you, and I'm saying, and no, and also they made us wear civvies so it didn't look like we were being forced to do this. If one of the Indians did drive by, which they did all the time, because there was a little cove by the creek where they would, by the bridge on the creek where the Indians would sit, that was about, I don't know, 30 or 40 feet away from the gate, the main gate, but not on the property. So the Indians were still allowed to go hang out there.
And Carol, can you see that comment from Carol? I don't know how to pronounce her last name. Shusian?
Is anyone here? Let me click that up.
There you go. Is anyone aware the local state and U.S. law enforcement has no jurisdiction on a BIA recognized Indian? We were well aware of this.
Carol, oh, let's keep that up. Yes.
And, we knew that they were a sovereign nation at the time. The children were out there, and pretty much we owned that property. The reservation, Saboba Indian Reservation, wasn't as well established as it is today, but nonetheless, the Indians were well aware of their freedoms to do as they chose without threat of law enforcement. But there was some internal discipline. As I was a volunteer firefighter, sometimes they would basically evict an Indian off the reservation by torching their house, and I'd go running out there at night with my fire company, and it was the strangest thing seeing a single family dwelling blowing and going, fire out the front windows, and nobody's around. Usually those things draw attention and looky-loos, but not on the reservation. So yeah, we were well aware of that. That just
and to add to Gary and to answer this, Carol, there were so many times, not so many, there were so many times people came onto the property where we were trained to act and be a certain way and not say certain things or do certain things until they were gone.
Right.
But specifically, when child services, after there were a lot of German, we called them the reporters, and it was German reporters coming over to show that they're doing the same thing they were doing in Germany that they're banned for. They were doing it with kids here. They're basically saying, like, you know, Hitler and like all these old historical cult leaders, this is what they were doing, and they're doing it here at the ranch. So they were trying to fly over with airplanes, and we after 2 times of that happening and realizing, not we, the adults, saying, oh, okay, this is going to be a flap. We need to train the cadets. Right. These cadets that are building this fire break right now, how to drop all your shovels immediately if you hear the sound of a helicopter or anything coming over that mountain. There should be no reason for that happening, especially if you see them circle once or twice.
Right.
Then you drop the shovels and you run under a structure, or you go inside somewhere until you're told. Also, there's a very loud security drill or sound, blue, blue, and each sound that's a fire drill. That's an intruder drill sound. That's somebody, a SP reporter, get inside. You know, like, there's drills for all this. So as children, we were also assisting in not giving anybody evidence of what was going on, because we thought, oh, those are SPs trying to put negative black PR on Scientology and the cadets. Like, and the best response was to have no response. So right, and just let them have nothing, have no information
there. So there's, you know, if the buildings could talk, that would be their only resource.
Ooh, right. So, and also another thing is the only way somebody like child services is allowed to enter the ranch property, because it's on Indian reservation, right, is by calling the Indian chief on Saboba. And the Saboba Indian chief then calls Dan Perbilski at the ranch, right, on the one telephone that is allowed to be answered by an adult only. Right. And it says, hey, some city officials are coming your way. I'm letting them on. Boom. Dan Perbilski puts the phone down. Walkie-talkies, Kenny Campbellman or Dan Cook or perhaps Mr. Jackson here. or Mr. Jackson's actually walkie-talking ranch IC saying, hey, they're trying to go on the property, make sure the kids are ready. And so the kids are in their drill, they're in their best behaviors, they're in their clean, beautiful uniforms. We change in 2 seconds. We look the best. Or immediately, if our uniforms are fucked or something, they will just send us into civvies. They'll say, go in civvies, because that looks even better. It just looks like, oh, we're just kids running around. And they'll say, go play in the playground. And what looks more fun, is that a word? What looks more fun than seeing cadets, children cadets in Scientology that you don't know, having actual fun in a playground or on the sports field?
Yeah, what represents happiness more than the kids playing in the playground?
No, but the cadets, we were actually enjoying it. We were like, holy fuck, they just told us to have fun for an hour.
Yeah, it was like being assigned to the RPF. You'd go, finally, I get 8 hours of sleep. So,
oh, wow. I mean,
I wanted to quickly answer a quick question here before it gets scrolled past. Gentleman was asking Jeff. Jeff, I think, hailed from my own Stomping Grounds Diamond Bar, San Bernardino, Riverside County. He just, did you ever work with the Del Rosa Hotshots? I did on incidents. Can't say that I claim to know people, but I certainly do remember Del Rosa Hotshots. They were out of Southern California, San Bernardino National Forest. And we called people with the Forest Service Forest Bunnies because it was just an agency thing. Forest Circus and Brush Bunnies. Anyways, that's just funny. Go ahead, Laura.
All right. No. Okay, so I'm gonna switch photos. So yeah, this is
what
this
is Rastus? What's Rastus?
I don't know. That's just Jeff.
Aaron wants to hear the alarm sounds again.
Hey, Aaron's serious when he says that too. He made me name all those kids. I wasn't even done. I was like, oh my God. After the interview that day, I was like, I forgot I felt so bad about all the kids I forgot. I was like, what about, and I was like naming them off in my sleep.
You know, I believe if I remember correctly, the alarm system I had is because I had my fire department connections, I was able to buy a police siren or police fire siren.
Yeah, I was gonna ruin everybody's ears right now and literally say they were literally official police sounds. Like it was like Intruder
there was the whale. There was
wait, Aaron wants to hear them. If he loses followers, that's because of him, not me. He wants to hear them. So Intruder drill, I remember these. So Intruder drill was bam, bam, just 3 long bam and quiet. That means get it and fucking hide. That means like somebody's on the property with a gun and they're trying. No, but that was like that. I remember that, like, go hide and be quiet because you might get killed. Somebody might take you out. And then they had the adults train, like literally grab a kid and force, and the kid, they grab me. You know what's so crazy is that guy grabbed me during the training drill. Oh, and I started crying. Because I was like, oh my God, he's gonna hit me again or something. I was just like, I'm gonna do something wrong, and so I started screaming, but I was screaming because I was used to it.
Of course.
And they were like, and then when he was like, see, good, that's how you should yell if somebody's gonna grab you. Because I was really freaked out of my fucking head.
Well, do you even remember you identifying some form of self-defense tool that you would end up wherever you sought shelter to look for a device that you could defend yourself with, such as a broomstick? Because I used to
no, they did, definitely. They make you go, that's like in my head, you're right, Jackson. Like in my head, I'm like, oh yeah, that's a normal thing. Yeah, you were supposed to look and see, oh good, there's a shovel right there. I could easily swing. That, yes, like as a fucking 10-year-old kid, I was like, I was ready to take that pickaxe and swing it if I needed to.
If you needed to. That was just the details in which I went.
Yeah, it went. No, it was very much like that.
You guys,
and also they taught us like how to close your eyes really quick in the dark so you could open them faster if somebody's shining a light at you. Because you know, like so that your eyes can adjust better in the dark. If all the lights go out, immediately turn off your close your. You know, close your so eyes. We knew all this. We knew all this. Yeah. So imagine all these kids you see here on the screen. Imagine they hear that sound, whatever. Aaron, I'm not giving you your fucking little. He's like, I want to hear all the sounds. Hi, Foxy girl. So imagine all these kids in like 5 seconds, they hear that the intruder drill or whatever,
Yeah.
and then, yeah.
Yeah,
No.
sound association to responses, you know, that's part of the human psyche.
Did you, why is Jeff still here up on the thing?
Because you need to, there you go. You need to unclick his comment.
Oh, okay. Was that me? I thought you,
Yeah, no,
I guess I
clicked.
need to put you in the thing.
I don't know. I didn't click on Rastus. Was that
Well, I
me?
don't know where it is. Yeah, there we go. Okay, good. Good,
Yeah.
good. Okay. How do I completely miss? Oh, that's so funny. All right. So where were we? Did we answer all of those psychotic questions? Because one question here is going to turn into a bunch. This is already talking to us about like, okay, this is how we learn training drills and security. So a lot of these things I can check off.
Courtesy and respect that I'm still in awe of how many people come to listen to the crazy shit I have to say. Anyways, so yeah, I think so. There's just a lot of love, some waving, some smileys.
Okay, Gary, I don't want to read all those.
Hearts.
I don't care.
I know. I'm
okay,
just saying
you, but don't talk out loud. You do that because then I'm gonna, because my brain gets distracted because I hear your voice and I'm like, I want to hear what Gary says.
Okay.
So, smileys. I'm like, oh, cute. I'll look at them all at the end. Oh, hey,
Sure.
so sorry I'm late to the party, Alex. See, look, I'm distracted right there. I see one comment. So, we handled the kids. We handled the stats. We talked about the intruder drills and security into gold base and stuff like that. Somebody asked on the last comment, on the last thing, they said they made you perform, like basically. So they did take whatever joy we did have in performing and learning dances and stuff. So we changed our like PE time. Either you have 30-minute PE to learn the dance for Christmas for the executives, or you can go and, you know, run a lap around the thing, or you can play 20 minutes of volleyball if you did a 2-mile run.
Right.
After you did the 2-mile run, like they wouldn't just give us 30 minutes of just fun volleyball or an hour or whatever. Maybe sometimes if they were trying to like make us look like we were having fun during a certain inspection or whatever. So yeah, we would learn these. We learned Christmas carols. We learned all like, we sang to. So do you remember Skeeter, Gary? I'm sure you do.
Yeah, I remember Skeeter.
DJ. I was like, Skeeter's the DJ at Gold. That's just what I thought.
He was that short little black guy. He was awesome, man. He and I were actually, for one of the Christmas bonus beer and cheese parties, the year-end event that we would hit on. We would spend months. We were trying to put together a rap dance that he and I would. We wanted to present it as though, because obviously.
Wait,
Skeeter,
were you? Wait. What was the song? Were you making up your own rap, or was there a song you were doing?
There's this band called 5 Minutes of Funk. I forget by the name, but there was a rap song called 5 Minutes of Funk. From the bottom to the top, top to the bottom.
Okay. I know somebody knows this. Yep.
Yeah. And he and I used to drill that on our meal times. We were planning on doing that during an event with the staff that suddenly, because Skeeter would put on music, take on music requests and let people dance to it, you know. Some people like the Police or whatever, and he would play it. So one time we were going to go, dude, let's just do because Skeeter and I were really cool. He used to be in security, but we're like, let's shock the crew with this big old lumpy white guy and a cool looking rhythmic black guy doing a rap song, and we would do it together. And we, you know, I really had this mental drive that I so wanted to learn how to dance like that. Anyways, he and Chris Ray, I don't know if you ever knew Chris Ray, and
that sounds
and
so
Beckett
familiar.
Wells.
Yeah, Beckett. Oh my God, I had a crush on Beckett as a child.
Yeah,
Weird.
Even with his pigeon toe walking.
I thought that was the coolest thing. I was like, he's kind of like a tall, weird, cool, hot, squippy guy. I don't know what the fuck my problem was. I was a 10-year-old, 11-year-old. No, I was like a 10-year-old cadet.
Yeah.
And I remember strongly, I remember his goatee and everything. Like, maybe that's the kind of man I'm
Laura,
be
I remember when I was before elementary school, I had a crush on my teacher. So it's not weird. That's what happens as a
But now
kid,
I'm like, oh my God, he looked like a tall, skinny beaver. I don't know what I was thinking.
Yeah, but anyways, no, we were planning on just suddenly doing that as a comedy thing for the group, but how cool it would have been to dance together. I so wanted to.
So, well, what we did as kids, we definitely did, you know, that song, I want to know what you're thinking. And the kids were like, do, 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 like did a whole thing, like, like, so, and we did. And there was a time I was like doing cartwheels because I was like really athletic or whatever as a child, I guess. And I was doing cartwheels, and around that, you know, that dance floor, that wooden built dance floor that they would install and then undo. They would only put it out. Gary, you remember the dance floor, the wooden dance floor? They would put it together for Christmas and for these things.
Well, it was covered, and we would take the covering off.
What was the cover? What do you mean it was covered? The covering
was
like rubber or something?
No, it was.
I thought I used to swear they were undoing the thing and they would put it all away and put it in storage.
Yeah, well, that actually
Maybe
was
not.
true. No, you're correct. You're correct, because it was like a basketball court setup. You know how the same arena, they'll have ice hockey and basketball
and they just
baseball.
Put it together.
And they'll put it all together. So yeah, that's right. That's what MCI did turn into.
They were in the MC. So this all happened, by the way. Yeah, we're not even telling the audience this. This happened at the Gold Base in the MCI, which is where all the crew at Gold Base ate.
Yeah,
it was like in the executive gallery,
our social gathering place.
Yeah, like the what do they call it in prison, where they all eat in the
mess hall?
In the mess hall. Yeah, this is actually probably what they call it on the free ones.
No, it was. Quickly, okay, so Aaron, go ahead. What were you going to say quickly?
No, so I just wanted to continue. Is Aaron interrupting my live stream?
Yeah, he's disturbing our feng shui flow here.
Because I have many other Peter/Jive Aces. I have a few things to talk about with you and about that whole thing. But what did Aaron say? It must be important.
During cadet study time, did you guys do normal psychology courses?
Wait, sorry.
Can I take a screen? Here you go.
Gary, I think you're cutting out, or I'm cutting out.
No, you cut out, sweetie. That's all right. You're back.
You froze too, honey bunny.
Well, I would on your end. Did
I not?
Did you freeze?
I didn't freeze on your end.
Yeah, you froze on my end. Yeah, I was trying to figure out how to do a screenshot to show you what you look like because it was cool.
Hello, then you messed me up with your screenshot.
Sure. I screened it. Yeah. No, I didn't.
All right. So Peter / what did Aaron? What was the question? I didn't even hear.
During the cadet study time, did you guys do normal Scientology courses or cadet courses?
And so we did. I answered this question if he was paying attention in my last stream. We did 4 hours of Scientology studies for sure. Right. And then the other 2 hours could be, which was for me always back to you stay on Scientology studies, because I was like doing the HQS or the ethics or the some whatever that they were, you need to get your ethics, and so you need to finish that. So they were like, you stay on your Scientology studies, but it was supposed to be 4 hours Scientology, 2 hours anything else.
Right. Yeah.
Anything else meaning anything not Scientology. Which is like the 2 hours. Anyways, and
in court. Look at Erin hanging out with us commoners tonight. She must be British. No offense.
All right, so
to tall, skinny beavers is what Erin says.
I should just Gary. How do I make you like a? I should learn all this after when we don't have.
I think there's
beautiful people watching. Anyways, we'll do it on the next one, Gary, because your brain is going to be very informative for a lot of cadets who have a lot of questions for you.
I think I got to log into guess it's prompting me to log into my Google.
Yeah, we'll do it later. Account. So Gary, back to reality. Did you ever see the cadet Int Ranch Cadet Org do the Newsies dance? The Newsies.
Can't say.
We spent like 6 months doing open the gates and seize the day. You don't open the gates and seize the day. We were like, anyways, we literally used the Int Ranch uniform because we looked like little scrubby newsies. So it
I think I remember walking in on you guys drilling that.
Yeah. And then And then I'm just answering this performance question because I am a performer. So I'm wondering maybe my daily performance and my rock shows, I'm sure there's a little fucking psychoticness of all this of things I missed out when I was a child. But do you remember this guy? So I remember these are right off the bat, like people that I remembered. I remember the Jive Aces. I remembered Peter Slash being like the runner of the musician that I need to make sure, like, but he kind of like in charge of it too. I obviously remember Ron Miscavige being the horn person. Yeah. But I just remember like Peter kind of having like, he was the one that kind of like was the one who put the band,
like
who ran the band.
Of the band. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was like, I wrote him a letter when I was in the cadet org. Dear Mr. Slash.
Oh, wow.
I would like to go to the gold base once I finish my GED. Because I was like, I'm going to get there when I'm 15. Because I don't need to go to school. I want to go to the gold base.
Did you ever reply out of curiosity?
Oh, for sure. Okay. And it was just like 5 words like, yes, would love to have you finish your thing and get here quick.
Yeah. Much love, like, Peter, right?
Much love, Peter. I was like, oh my God, he signed it. Okay, so you remember Peter Slash. I was just making sure, Gary, these aren't like, let's let the audience know and the future viewers watching this. These aren't made up names. Like, these are kids. So I told you, I'm putting together, I literally have a Rolex here where I'm only using this for all the kids and the adults that were at the Int Ranch or had anything to do with the Int Ranch and lived there, stayed there or whatever. This is only for that. So because every single human that was there, we need to find out what happened to them. How do you feel about this? What are you doing? Exactly. Yeah. And I guarantee you all of this is completely enough to wake up the world and the court system and be like, Scientology needs to be taken down. Yeah. Okay. So, gold-based musicians and performances, Sea Org, Xmas, the news. So we would do the carols, you know, you were there for Christmas carols and stuff, right? Yeah. We did dancing, obviously. Skeeter. I remember Jive Aces. Do you remember Paco?
Yeah. Hi, good old sweetie. Paco.
You remember Paco?
Yeah, very much so. Who doesn't at the base?
Nice so I've just like being, hi, honey. Is it Frozen?
Yeah, it was Frozen. It was again.
Maybe I need to close out on these other things. I'm going to close out all this.
If you have a lot of stuff going on in your computer or your storage is almost full.
Gary, I know you don't need to yell at me. I'm just closing everything out now. Cool. Okay. So yeah, Paco, as I can still talk and do this. So Paco.
Yeah.
He passed away, I think not too recently, right? I heard that somewhere and I was like,
I'd say within the last 7 years, 8 years, something like that.
Okay. I remember, you know, the parade, they would do this parade for the city or something.
Yeah. Out locally.
We performed on that. They had us kids performing on the float, and we built that float at the Ant Ranch.
At the base.
Okay, so we were connected to the WOG world in that way because Paco wasn't assigned, like he was. Maybe he was Scientologist,
but more used as a showpiece than anything.
Right, like we're so happy. Look at us.
Yeah. Look at the kids of the golden era.
It's the way to happiness.
Funny thing is, you see all these little young kids up there from 15 on down, but you never saw any of their parents attend.
Right. And where's your parents? Yeah. Oh my God.
You would think, you would,
Okay, okay, good. We did that. Okay, next question was, are your siblings out? My sister is finally out of the Sea Org, but she definitely is married to the person she got married to in the Sea Org. And when they left, they were still definitely going to be Scientologists. They just didn't want to be in the Sea Org anymore. And so she's married to him. So when he left, she left. She was like, I'm not fucking staying here. So if he went back in the Sea Org, I'm like, would you go back in the Sea Org? Like, anyway, sorry. That's not a nice thing to say when I haven't talked to my sister in so long. But yeah, she's a Scientologist, but she's out of the Sea Org, but she's probably paying her freeloader bill and all that right now with her husband and stuff so that they can get back in standing. She wrote me a letter. I randomly saw on Facebook after I wrote that email. If you listen to my other episodes, 1 or 2, I forget which one I was talking about my dad, probably both. But if you listen to that, you'll hear that I basically sent this email to my dad when he was just showing up to my personal space and my art space. And I kept telling him, like, stop doing this. I'm not going to CC. I'm not doing this. They're ruining our relationship. Every time you come here, they want us to argue. So you feel more and more annoyed that I'm not listening to you and you're not listening to me. It was like very annoying.
Well, it was never just you and your father. It was always somebody listening in. So your father was already under
the influence of L. Ron Hubbard's drug spell. Literally.
Well, yeah, but under
Sea Org policy. No, that's what I mean.
What he's saying, yeah.
Right. And then when he did come, there would be times when I was like, oh, hi, fine, Dad. Yeah, come in. And then we would talk, and I'd be like, Dad, I'm not going to do that. You know, I even brought up to my dad in the warehouse, and we were sitting there, and I was kind of like, Dad, this is us. Like, I'm I'm doing my art now. I'm like, I'm an adult now. And he's like, I know. He was like kind of laughing. He's like, I know. He's like, it's awesome. And then I was just kind of like, so it was just so hurtful that he kept coming back after we had these really beautiful, deep conversations. And then he would leave like, okay, I understand. All right. Yeah. I'm going to see what we can do. And then maybe you can go see a movie this weekend. It was just sweet. And then all of a sudden he was back the next day. Like, you need to, and I was just like, why, so when that did happen, sorry, see, trauma. Let me just run right back down to my upset.
Laura, please don't ever do that to yourself. Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
You're teaching me, Gary. You guys are all teaching me, like, right. It's okay, breathe, it's
Embrace
okay.
It, yeah.
So yes, when that happened, I'm crossing off the thing, so I'm done talking about this. When that happened, when I sent my dad that email, like, you keep doing this. When you're ready to leave, I'm here, but I would like to have a life with you that has nothing to do with Scientology. And obviously, I got no response to that. And then a week later, I noticed I had just been talking to my sister about our cute cats. And she was like, oh my God, I love that you have cats. Like, we are sis. Like, we loved our cats or whatever. And then like, she just was gone on Facebook and I was like, what the, and then I was like, I just kind of felt it like, oh my. And so I just immediately texted her, like, why are you not on my Facebook? Like, what the heck happened? I was like, I can't find you anywhere. And she was like, she sent me, her response was, somehow you've gotten yourself declared as suppressive. So your new terminal is the IJC chief calling that. Right. So that was that. And then I wrote back, I think, like, I can't believe you're fucking doing this. I've known you my whole life. We've been at the Inn Ranch. We were like, you know how I am. We're sisters. Like I'm not fucking out evil. And then no response. And at that time I was so fucking upset. So that was like 6 years ago. So that's my sister. My brother has been through a hellhole of shit. He's been out, as I said in my other episodes, when I found out he left, I was like, I'm not going back again. Once I was on Rattle Island, like trying to leave the Sea Org, I was like, for the third time, I was like, I'm going to go out. And if I really suck in the WOG world, then I'll just come back and like do whatever conditions I have to do and come back. But then when I found out my brother left, I was like, no, I'm definitely, yeah, he's out. I'm going. I'm going to see how it is first. And he was sent to Canada and I was sent to LA. I didn't even see him for a while, but still. Anywho, staying focused. Did that answer that? So my brother's going through stuff. He's amazing. He's happy. We started talking again because he got sober and he's like doing his own therapy and getting on his feet now. And I'm so freaking proud of him if he is watching this.
Oh, awesome.
But so, yeah, he's fine. But he's definitely going to be going through his own therapy and he's opening a lot. Like he's amazing. He was at Gold Base and everything. So he has a lot he's on the onion, as they say. It's the more it opens, the wiser. You're just like, oh, I'm learning so much. All right. So that answers that. And then somebody said, could the Indians who were hearing the screaming testify? I would like eventually, whenever the subject of kids in Scientology, which it is coming, there's court things happening in the courts right now with all this. But whenever specifically it's about the cadets and the upbringing of these children in Scientology's, policies and hands, it would be really cool if the lawyers or the investigators obviously on the case actually could go into Saboba and kind of just say, hey, who are the elderlies now that were around during these times, and ask them, like, what did you hear? What was your feeling about that? The kids being there, that would be very good supportive evidence or whatever, maybe for a future lawsuit or case. Okay, great. We can continue. I answered the old questions, I think. And we're kind of getting pretty far. Like, I don't want to overdo the 2-hour thing. So maybe, what do you
Is there a
think?
2-hour window?
No, the first time I did this, I think I was like, oh my God, I think I could keep going. This is fun. I definitely can.
Can you see how many viewers there are and all that? Because I don't see that. I guess that would be a way of saying.
I don't know. Oh, 87. Is it on the very top? It says like 87 are listening right now.
Yeah, that means that there's actually live set of ears listening. There's also.
So let's keep going. And so, are there any questions or anything that you see, or are we kind of answering them as we go?
Okay, here we go. Veronica Bombria. I'm hoping that I'm pronouncing that correctly. Question, Laura. Love your energy. I really need to know the names of the color you are wearing.
Goldenrod. It comes from the marigold flower. And the reason I'm wearing it is because when you're declared an SP in Scientology, when they declare you, they print it on this bright orange goldenrod color so that when you go to your comm baskets, that's a whole nother thing. When you go to the baskets, you'll see, somebody got declared because there's an orange goldenrod, and everybody's letting the whole organization know this person is declared.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what it is.
The color.
It's going to be my new merch line.
Scientology itself, L. Ron Hubbard built in identifying each division of your standard Scientology organization board. He gave it a color. Like the executive division was represented by the color of sky blue. Our sales dissemination was represented by purple. Quality control was given a color of gray, and our HR, otherwise Hubbard Communications Office, the where in which all the interactions with staff on their personal issues, was identified by the color of goldenrod. So the idea was, if you went to that room in which all the communication boxes were, we called them our inboxes, which is communications coming to us would be coming into us. So if I wrote Laura, she would see a letter.
There was an in, pending, and out. So you would, if you wanted mail to go out, you would put it in the out basket. So and then any in, you would be like, oh, I'm supposed to read this and see what it is.
Yeah.
It's for me.
In essence, you could see just by visual a sky blue one from executive. You could see a purple letter, a purple piece of paper in there is probably from dissemination. And then if you saw a goldenrod, that was a communication from the division of HCO Communications Office. And these were.
But can I also say they specifically do have a turn off or a shade off of the SP declared goldenrod order. That's the only reason that anything's printed on this order is when somebody's declared an SP.
Well, no, it's because it's represented by the Hubbard Communications Office. The ethics, yes.
But what else are they printing on this goldenrod paper?
It may
Court of Ethics?
No.
Do they print it on that?
Court of Ethics, any justice. Comev.
Okay.
Yeah.
So still,
it's not just
in the alignment of the out ethics.
Yeah. And the idea, again, what I was saying is if you saw by visual identifying of whose basket's who, if you walked in a room and saw in everyone's basket that there was some goldenrod, you would go, uh-oh, someone's in trouble.
Something happened. That's what I mean. Like,
you would mentally go, oh, there must be some directive from HU. Right. Or if there was a powder blue in there may be a new executive directive order in there. Yeah. And it would just key your attention. And that's the purpose of, if you look at the spines of every green and white volume, you'll see there's a color band at the bottom, and that color represents each division. So just wanted people to understand it wasn't any other particular reason. Goldenrod, it could have been gray. Initially, maybe goldenrod sticks out. It has an impact on the eyes, and it's actual language in ourselves that from where Laura and I once hailed, when you hear goldenrod, it kind of has this little
ding ding.
Yeah, it kind of has this trigger.
Because you're just interested too. You're like, is that about one of my friends?
Well, of course.
You're like, is that my senior? You have no idea. It's just like all of a sudden. Yeah.
Yeah, goldenrod was associated with misery. There was something going down.
Yeah.
Could have your name on it or someone else's.
So this is why, and also this is also why I have our names highlighted in the goldenrod color too.
Yeah.
Mainly on the SPs.
Making fun of it, and it's a good way.
Hey, I'm not. I'm just a happy little joker and a grader.
go fuck yourself is what it is.
Okay, so there's some other things here too, Gary. Are you ready? These are quickly things I want people to know that before we start. I'm like, before we start to end.
Sure.
I just wanted to quickly name off like a list of things that Gold Base and the Cadet Org definitely had. The Int Ranch, the Gold Base and the Int Ranch had to have every single day in connection. Otherwise, they would be like, yeah, this like just the normal things that were happening, such as, and here I go. Ready? So the first time I ever did the purification rundown, I was sent to the Gold Base as a 9-year-old child to do the purification rundown at the Gold Base with Danny Dunnigan's wife. I forget her first name. What's her first name?
Wife? There was Gwen.
The short-haired one.
Gwen with the British accent?
No. Was she small and tiny?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it probably was her name.
She was.
Maybe I had to call her Mr. Maybe I had to call her Sir because she was on Gold Base or something.
Well, you had to call every Int Base staff member, whether they're the garbage IC or.
Yeah, because I was a cadet.
Yeah,
right.
You're a cadet.
So, anyways, I was her twin, and she was such. I mean, maybe I was kind of, I don't know, but she basically was being very
Stern.
like exactly on policy. It says we need to run for 30 minutes. So she was like, come on, you're not running. And I was like, it says or walk fast. Like,
want to hear a funny story?
I started to just hate her. And so we were fighting on the pier, and I was like, fuck her. I was like a little cadet, like, fuck you, you're fucking. I was like, I don't need her fucking run. No, why would I want to be on the pier? I was like so mad at her.
Wow. You want to hear a funny story with Danny and his wife Gwen?
Quick, yes.
Okay, the booth sitting across the street from the main booth used to be the Broadway booth out there at Gilman Hot Springs.
Yeah, the security booth. You're talking about the security booth, which basically sits there, and there's 2 gates, and the security booth's in the middle.
This is back in the day,
out.
Yeah. Back in the day, originally
one?
There used to be a gate, a booth across the street, entering to the north side of the property, going up Broadway where the ship's at. Anyways, Danny was holding that booth one Sunday morning. I come rolling up there on the rover bike, and Danny's sitting there. He's got a big old fat lip, and you know when someone's lip is so fat they can hardly talk.
Yeah,
it actually overcomes the size of the rest of their lip because it's like they got a golf ball in there. It was that huge. And he can only talk that. Blah, blah,
I don't want to laugh until I know why.
Okay, well, I'm like, Danny, what happened to your lip? And he goes, well, I was moving my trunk like this in the closet, and it fell out and it hit me. And I said, okay. So a couple hours later, I ran across Gwen down in Talent, and I said, hey, Danny really hit himself in the face with the trunk? And she goes, no, I punched that little fucker.
Yeah, she was a vicious little, like, she was kind of, but why did she punch him?
Well, because Danny was, and again, this is, you have to know the background of why these 2 characters are like this, but Gwen was just a short, and she was a British, but she was just short and to the point type of girl. And if you pissed her off, she would like just slap you and turn around and walk away. Not that she was always into hurting somebody. It's just, in Danny's case, they were a couple. So I'm sure he just annoyed the shit out of her after so many times. She just ended up as the final result of finally punching him, because he was always really snappy and verbally aggressive.
But so was she. She was like that to me on the pier as a child. I was like, I remember thinking, Gary, like, and I'm sure maybe she was nice. You know what? My mom knew her, and my mom was like, oh, she's so nice. And I was like, how is my mom thinking this person is so nice?
Right.
But she was very fucking snappy and rude, like very wanted feisty. To be fighting, wanted to argue.
Yeah, and I guess it's more comedy to me than everybody can come to understand, just because my point about it is, that's where I started realizing that Danny would cry on the turn of a dime, in that he seemed all Mr. Rough and Tough, and my shit don't stink, and I'm the ultimate security guard, and yes, sir, I will do whatever you ask. But then on the other hand, you could make him cry, and when I went back to him after, he's like, Danny, your trunk didn't fall and hit you in the lip. Yeah. Gwen punched you. What'd she punch you for? And he just broke down crying. Yeah. Because I pissed her off. Now, in that environment, it was funny. It was comical. I'm not.
The other thing, though, it's not comical to me. I know it is to you, and you're so funny, and we laugh about so much things. It's not comical because I keep remembering how rude this person was, and the fact that it was normal for her to think to me that I'm not a child. It was already normal to her. Like, you're not a child.
Yeah.
You should be able to be running with and I was just like, she was running like a fucking ninja. Cha, 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 cha. And I was like, no, I'm not going to do that for 30 minutes. I'm not gonna. I was like, I just ran laps in the governance group. I'm not doing that.
Gwen was one of those that more bent the knee to the company's demands of treating everybody.
Yeah, she was like, you need to do it right.
Whereas like Claudia, Claudia would be somebody would hold you to adult accountability, but she would also have some compassion that you're just a child. And
yeah. Okay, yeah. Gary, let's stay focused because we can both literally at the beginning of this thing, I said me and Gary could chat for 8 hours and people would be sleeping and we'll still be talking. Okay, so that purification rundown, not only did cadets from the Int Ranch go there, but also the purification I see was a French lady who was Sarah and Sydney Leobard's mom, who was a mother of one of the cadets at the Int Ranch, both of them. But remember lady? Sydney and Sarah Leobard. Sydney Leobard. Sarah Leobard. No, her mom is Maria or something. Marie. She was the purification I see. She was a French lady.
Yes.
Like, do not interrupt my patient. He's in the session. Like, David Muscouch would be like, get him off the pure if he fucked up on something. And then somebody would try to come and she would be like, no, this is off policy. You cannot interrupt somebody in the pure. Yeah. I'm totally over exaggerating this voice. Sorry. Okay. Anyways, let's move on. Gary, that wasn't a thing. Let's just move on. So basically, purification rundown at Gold Base, definitely. And the running program, by the way, I wrote when they just started the running program and they were making the gold wheels, which is the thing later that they use for superpower in Clearwater. This is all the things they're now going, oh, good, this worked at the Gold Base that we tested. So now it's approved to be as part of the Golden Age attack at superpower. This shit was going down fucking 25 years ago and they were testing the gold rings. How does this feel when you're upside down? I was testing them all out.
Anything and everything, technologically, contraptions were always
okay. Moving from that too, the cadets at the Int Ranch were the first little crew that were the ones being put to work. And maybe you can put some input on this. Building, are y'all listening? If for all you still sticking with us like real superheroes. We were building the quantum e-meter that is used to audit or sec check or interrogate anybody on the planet. Us cadets at ages 14 to 10 to 6, we were in uniforms on a run from the Int Ranch base to the Gold Base. That's only 10 minutes away in a driving van run to build the e-meter that everybody today is using.
Yep.
And we would stick and glue the quantum gold pin on the e-meter and we would be drilling in the screws and putting on the cases. The kids were doing this and they called this the HEM, the HEM crew. Hubbard e-meter. E-meter crew. And then the other thing they were doing that also, I'm just going to throw out, this is all, I hope I'm blowing people's minds right now. For y'all that are staying this long, I hope I'm blowing your minds right now. I'm going to name off a bunch of shit, right? Gary, this is crazy that kids were building the e-meters that are godly used for Laura, every auditing session to go free in the world.
When I was a cadet,
we were building them. They weren't made by some really scientific person. They were made by cadets and people at the Gold Base.
Laura, I was doing that back in 1979 down in Los Angeles. And
so then they just shifted it over to gold when they were like, oh, now we have a whole studio that we can say we're building. And the Mark 6, the Mark 7, 9,
use an ironing gun, and I would put my name, melt my name in the back inside shield. And
be like, later, I did this one.
Eric, well, I would put Gary M on there and put the date.
Isn't that crazy?
To do that. And then years later, Eric Ergens comes out from him all the way up at Gilman Hot Springs, and he goes, "Hey Jackson, look at this." And he splits this email apart, and I see from something that I did back in 1979 as a cadet. Anyways, Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a
Okay. Moving
standard.
on.
You guys were looked at.
We built the motherfucking e-meters. We did all that.
Yeah.
We're printing the books. My brother at Gold, when he went to Gold, was making amazing covers and designing the basics and the CDs. My dad was the sales sec and was running people on how they're going to sell these bulk items. It's all a machine. It's literally wake up, everybody. I know you're trying to be like, no, but Scientology is not that bad. We're not talking about bad. We're talking about a made up organization of technology that L. Ron Hubbard psychotically stole from all sorts of people to create and control an organization to run things his way so that he could feel like a fucking god thing. That got carried away by David Miscavige. This is all the facts. All right. I don't want to run away because I can go off, and I want to be a good girl and stay on point. All right. Food runs to the ranch.
Yeah.
Gary, how did the Int Ranch get food? How did the kids eat other than the food that once we didn't have enough food, we would add food from the farms in the field?
Yeah, or the days before. It was transported from the main base out there.
How was it? What do you mean?
Well,
wait, what are we transporting?
Your daily food, whether it was breakfast, lunch, or dinner. It was
and
taken
what
out there
what
by
is
van
it?
Or some sort of whatever vehicle they had available at the time. Sometimes in
What's
the back
the
of
food though?
Well, I don't know, Debbie. How do I answer that, girl? It's the food was the food. It was the secondhand leftovers.
That is what I'm getting to.
Okay.
What did the Int Ranch? What was it like? Oh, good. This is separate food for the ranch, or was it RTC gets their food, then CMO Gold, then CMO W? All of them get there, then Gold Base, and then let's save a few little scraps over here for the ranch kids.
Yeah, and it's like, just as an example, if it was hot dogs and hamburgers, and majority of the Int Base crew ate the hamburgers and all was majorly left over was the hot dogs, that's all you guys would get.
Right. We were lucky if we got then when at the ranch, when we would get the food for like Saturday, lunch, hot dogs or hamburgers during the renos, it would be like a long day of renos. So you want to get hot dogs are fine, but hamburgers were gone in 5 seconds because I was like, I'm getting hamburger cheese. Yeah. Oh, and eating that.
It was like the golden ticket. Yeah.
The golden ticket.
When you saw them. Yeah.
All right. So I just want to be clear about that. Our food came from the Gold Base. And even if we harvested it and produced it and clean everything, which I showed you some pictures. I'll show you more. Actually, Gary, can I be annoying and just pull that up really quick? I love how I'm asking you. I love it. It's just there's this one specific photo. There's two where you can, if you just see this one photo, I think you guys will get an idea of what I'm talking about. And this is, who, Gary, have you heard anything from a person named Dee Dee Carlson? Do you know where they're at?
I remember her. I can't.
She would take pictures. She was a really good photographer.
Yeah, she was.
And she worked at the Int Ranch, and she was in charge of all of the provender and the harvesting and the vegetables. But she didn't run the cadets. She didn't run the kids. She was just more in charge of the property.
Right.
And she loved animals. She was really good. And I think she still is really good with animals. But she took photography, really amazing photographs. And I bet you she would have pictures of I think how would she not, she had him in her personal camera, and and then she ended up taking the PR photos for everything. She ended up she was so good at photos, so I'm sure she has. Okay, here's a picture of my friend Gayla Gualteri, who's now on the RPF at Florida.
God, her father was such a cool guy. Both her parents.
Who?
Gualteri. Yeah.
Oh, Sarah Gualteri and Pat Gualteri.
And Pat, yeah.
See, guys, Jackson knows what I'm talking about. Every time I mention a person. So let me share this so that everybody knows what we're talking about before I just start talking, as usual. So this is Gayla Gualteri. Oh, can you see it or not? Share.
Nope.
Oh, sorry.
Don't see it. I don't see it. There we go.
Yeah,
you go. Something. There we go.
Okay.
There's little Sarah.
This is Gayla Gualteri, her daughter.
That's what I meant.
So right here in her hands is potatoes.
Yeah.
These are picked potatoes and behind her, you can also see the bins of lettuce and romaine, and that's just lettuce and potatoes. These are just a day of lettuce picking and potatoes. You know what I mean?
What is that from? It says activity gallery. Where'd you get that from?
That took from Scientology's bullshit site that they have up. That's like, Cassio, the Int Ranch is so pretty. And they use Dee Dee Carlson's photos, these photos. So I want, where's Dee Dee? If Dee Dee's around, I know you had a good heart and I know she is a lot and I don't know what she's up to, but please hit me up if anybody knows how I can get a hold of her. Dee Dee Carlson, I don't know what she goes by now, or maybe she still goes by that, but if you've heard of her, please hit me up, because she will have some insight on a lot, like she's a key witness as to the PR that was done for what was happening in the photos and what was actually happening.
Right.
Okay. So anyways, y'all see this. This is today. This chick on the screen here, she was one of my best friends still when I left the Sea Org. And then when I came back to Clearwater after I got approved, and I was mentally like, I'm not going to be in Scientology, but I was like, I just want to get my last like bearing. Like I want to be I went to the Fort Harrison Hotel, looked out the ballroom, and I was like, I used to fucking scrub all these windows. And then I remembered looking out the window of the Fort Harrison Hotel ballroom and remembering when I was younger thinking, oh, I wonder how many people had committed the overt of thinking they wanted to kill themselves. I didn't think, oh, they committed suicide. Right. I was thinking, oh, I bet you so many people have been in session giving off the withhold of, oh, I was thinking about jumping out this window.
Right.
At the Fort Harrison. Anyways, Gayla Gualtieri was the video filming auditing room. She was stuck in a room just like my mom almost at Gold Base, but still only a little bit bigger than she is now. Like she looks identical still. I don't know if that's that psychology thing where you freeze in your childhood, your age or whatever. She would be in the video technical room in the Fort Harrison Hotel in the HGC recording all of the sessions and videoing and sending them to RTC would be in her room all the time, sitting there. And me and her were like best friends at this time. And she was like, you can't like beep pager. She was like, yeah, we would have codes of when RTC was literally in there on the headphones listening in on a session. So this chick from the Int Ranch, Gayla Gualtieri, whose parents were both at Gold and they're both out, I believe now. Pat definitely got declared because I remember she wasn't allowed to talk to her dad anymore.
Pat's no longer with us.
Yeah, but I don't know. Oh, yeah, he passed away. I do believe that too. Yeah, or I heard about that.
Good man. He went on to serve the veterans of the U.S. out in New York. He really.
So when you joke about his big fat belly, it's like I don't know. I mean, he was fat. That about his belly. Oh no, that was Tato. Sorry, yeah, you can joke about that guy.
Tato, yeah.
Tato potato. Speaking of
that picture right there, that's got Pat's face and cheeks and eyes and smile all over.
100%. That's 100, and I'm looking at her now 100%. And see, I just said 100% again. And I also do see Sarah's face because my mother and Sarah were really good friends.
And her hair length. Yeah, no, it's amazing. It's so cool to recognize that in a child.
So this is just potatoes, but like there's other. Sorry, I'm getting better at this, guys. I know you guys are already telling me how great I am. This is just one of the pictures, like, so that way you guys can get an idea of that. Okay,
I'm a little concerned we may be losing an audience here. How many?
That's fine. That's why I want to chop this off. And who cares? Who's concerned? There's going to be people are watching this right now on replay, and they are like, "No, we're here for you." So let me run through this. So the food runs to the Int Ranch and Gold Base, and we would bring our farm vegetables to the executives.
It would leave hot and arrive cold.
Literally. We'd be like, what happened?
Yeah.
Okay. And then when they needed extra help at the galley and things like that and baking, they would send cadets from the Int Ranch to the Gold Base to work in the galley. And we thought we were privileged to be working in the galley and working for Nucci. Do you remember Sonar? He was COB's like personal chef.
Sonar, he was my bud, man. He was my buddy.
He taught me how to cut a strawberry. And I still, to this day, every time I cut it, I think of him. And I'm like, yeah, this guy, he was CO Dave Miscabage's chef, and he taught me how to cut it where you open it, it looks all fancy, and you can
he used to be Hubbard's chef too, by the way.
That's true. Yeah. See, I knew he was like a fan. Anyways, so all that would happen, running program, TTC. Okay, good. So we did talk about everything. Oh yeah, and I was gonna bring up Kenny Siegel, the PE coach.
Seabold. Yeah.
Seabold, whatever.
Yeah. Siegel.
And the fact that Cine and Gold, they did all their video shoots and all their films and all that at the Int Ranch. A lot of that, the How to Set Up a Session, the African film, and all that was all done at the Int Ranch. And the kids, once they were done, had to break it all down. And
yeah, the labor force.
Yeah. Okay. Good. We did it, Gary Gares. All right. So as we will do,
it does not ring in my head.
I know
Gary,
it just laugh.
That's just
Gary
weird.
Gares. Gary Gares.
Mr.
Jackson.
Yeah. You don't have to call me Mr. Just Jackson.
Hey, Gary, I'm going to call you if I want to
you call me where
Gary,
the fuck you want.
If I want to call you Jackson, if I want to call you Moorhead.
Yeah. There you go. That's right.
As long as we're talking, that is the key.
Yeah. I'll call you Megan then.
100%.
Yeah.
You're allowed. Hey, Megan. But then I might not respond to you at one of my shows.
Now you get my point. Whenever you say Gary.
Okay. I'll be like, hey, Jackson.
There you go. Yeah,
I just didn't want to re-stimulate your old post. That's why I don't say Jackson.
No. And that's why I don't call you Megan. So, but I'm not concerned about it. So call me Jackson so I pay attention.
Okay, cute. All right, my little sweet human beings of all natures of the world. I also wanted to look. We have more people watching now, Gary. Okay, I'm gonna shout this out though. If y'all are still here, if the degraded daughters of Dianetics are still here, and Catherine from her book The Bad Cadet, if y'all are in the chat, they are doing a book. What do you call that? A book thing?
Book club?
A book club, yes. Thank you. See, Jackson? So they're doing a book club tomorrow live on YouTube at Degraded Daughters, and Catherine's talking about her book, The Bad Cadet, and I can't wait. I cannot wait. I think it's at 11 a.m.
Okay.
Standard, our time. So
Pacific
just
time?
look them up. You guys will see. I just wanted to throw that out there because I love them all.
LA time.
I'm like a LALA time. It's a Lara Anderson LA time.
Yeah.
It's standard Pacific LARA time.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So I threw that out. And then everything else, if you guys want to buy a lot of people were asking about or saying a lot about the music and the music videos and how do we send you donations and things like this. Go to my website. Oh, I should do this. Look, Gary. I'm getting better at this each and every day. There is my
Created
website.
your own banner, yeah.
Okay, good. So there's my website. And if you haven't, that has all my email, my Instagram. If you want to directly contact LARA FM and you don't want anybody else to be involved and you want to leave a message, just call this hotline, 323-898-1335. Leave a message and I will get back to you however you would like me to. Or if you just want to leave some information about the Int Ranch or anything like that, that would be valuable to me or anybody there. Please do that as well. Gary, were you going to say something?
No, I was just the hotline.
Yes,
it just reminds me of the 1-800 number I created for the staff to call the booth. In the event you're off base, that's and you kind of
that's why I came up with the hotline. It reminded me of that.
Yeah, you had no money and looking for help. 1-800, I need help.
1-800. Well, this one is the SP hotline, LFM with care and love. 323-898-1335. Otherwise, you can find us. Any information or anything on my website.
If we can
any other things, Gary? Do we need to shout out any other things? You can look in the comments. There was a bunch of comments about Goldie.
Well, let's
telling
just
people about
other around. I mean, what about like interactions or running across wildlife out there, like any rattlesnakes or, you never ran across a rattlesnake out there
at the Int Ranch?
Yeah.
Well, that's on the list, but I didn't want to keep going.
Oh.
Yeah. So basically, the Int Ranch.
No,
so I was going
to
say.
Go there. I'm just saying.
No. I do want to say that's so weird that you brought that up. Okay, I do want to. If we're going to close with that, but I do want to say when they did the African How to Set Up a Session film, the doll, how to use a doll. They did this whole film about how to set up a session if you're in the middle of nowhere in Africa. And they did that at the ranch. So when we were breaking it down, there were so many rattlesnakes Eventually they said they were making us kill. They were saying, if you kill a rattlesnake, if you see a rattlesnake and you kill it and you chop off the head, then and you do it right and you pull the tail off, you send that into the gold base security, and they would send $10 to the kid.
Yeah. No, it was based off.
We
of
killed them
L.
all
Ron
the
Hubbard.
time. I'm sorry.
It was an L. Ron
we
Hubbard
killed
directive that to kill a rattlesnake.
No.
Yeah, it was a written policy that because
What
they
is
were
it?
considered a threat, that if any rattlesnakes are considered, they could kill somebody. So if you see one, kill it, turn in its rattle, you get $10. I think it was a bounty. There was specific language about it.
I did not know that was actually an official thing. I don't know. I was
no,
like, I don't know where they thought it was okay for children to do that. But again, in Scientology, there aren't any children. So that all makes sense now. See, Gary, you cleared up a rattlesnake thing. But yes, they were encouraging, and children at the ranch were literally at 8 years old, 10 years, chopping the heads with their shovels that they were digging trenches with. Chop the head off of the snake, and then we would I killed it. No, I killed it. I get the $10 and send it into I was gonna say one of the security guards, but yeah, that's a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
So good. Boom. Still here. Degraded daughter. Yeah. Perfect. Wait, let's see what they said. What time is that?
Good old Vanessa. My gosh.
Yes, all of them. It's so cute. All of them too. But I was just thinking tomorrow with Catherine would be really cute. 11 PST, 2 EST. That's what they said for tomorrow. Cool.
Do you know what that means, right?
You know what? It doesn't matter. I said it and people will figure it out.
Okay,
Lara, I love you and Gary together. He clearly has a huge amount of love for you. I can see how much you adore one another and the brother-sister connection. Love listening to your stories together. Oh, I'm supposed to pop that up. Sorry. Thank you. Okay, let's just run through this, right, Gary? That'll be fun. Gary, thank you for serving as a first responder. You can see how much you loved it.
Hey, thanks, Steph. Yep.
That's so sweet. Thank you for your best show yet. Jackson, you're not chopped liver either. By all, and a hotline equals a real support. Sweet.
Peggy Dooley.
Are you reading it? Oh,
no,
yeah.
Reading the name.
Oh, nice. Oh, I can undo that. Sorry.
No,
I was scrolling down.
Yeah, scroll down and click.
Thank you. Oh, yes. You guys rock, Lara. I'm loving your channel. Hey, what's that Beatles song? We all get by with a little help from our SP friends.
Yeah, that's right.
You gals and Gary are all forced to. I pray to not do that. Yes. All right. Is there anything else? If there's anything else that any of y'all out there want, in terms of like my CDs or merch or something, let me know. I've got a few things.
Yeah, Laura's not monetized yet, so she's not able to
throw down the money
super
sign
chats like we've all come accustomed to on these SPTV channels. So I'm about to pull the trigger myself in attempt to do my first live here. It may be soon. It may be. I've had a very, very, very tight, long work month. For the company I work for, a lot of people are on vacation, so we've had a lot of coverage, and I've been pulling a lot of extra shifts. So it's really hard, aside from these dip-ins, like I've been able to, like I was on Aaron's channel last week, and I did that into my sleep time. So
yeah, I know. I can tell, Gary. You're freaking awesome, and our schedule.
Yeah,
I'm a weirdo too. I have weird schedule. Like I wake up at 6 a.m. PST. I was like PTS time.
PTS time.
PST time. Yeah. My body just wakes up 6:30 every morning. Yeah. Well, and I'm a rocker. Sometimes I go to bed at fucking 3 a.m. My body will wake up at 6:30 a.m.
Yeah. Well, I literally it's starting work at 2 a.m. So I'm up at midnight. So
now I know I can call you when I'm like superly happily buzzed, passing out in bed. Sure. Gary, did you wake up for the morning? All right, there's this one. I am curious, did they have people that worked at Church of Scientology that were not members?
Yes. They were hired contractors, but not.
What about Mitch?
Well, he was a hired contractor.
Oh, and also, wait, they are members, though, of Scientology.
Well, of
course.
Right? Not always.
But not.
but a majority of them were. You know,
like Paco, was Paco?
Paco was a Sea Org member.
Oh wow!
Paco
See?
goes way
Didn't know that.
back. Paco goes back to the Apollo days.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
I didn't know that. I thought he was kind of a nice Scientology woggish. All right,
no,
cool.
No.
There were. Hi,
oh, look at that fabulous dog. I love shit like that. Look at that.
What do you want? You want food or you want
she just
a
wants
walk?
mama.
And she's like, I just want rubbies.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Boom, boom, boom. I just finished watching Aaron's interview with Serge. So heavy. Yes, Serge. And if you aren't following Serge, he just made his YouTube. It's Serge Delmar, SERGEDELMAR, on YouTube. And yeah, I'm sure he's gonna be uploading a bunch of beautiful.
Woodcraft's sister at the Ant Ranch.
Oh, what?
Someone's asking, I stand alone.
Yeah. Wait, Woodcraft. What was the question? Sorry.
I Stand Alone is asking if either one of us know.
Is that it? No, it's not.
That was a weird scratch.
Which one was that?
Scroll up. I Stand Alone asking if we knew Asta Woodcraft's sister at the Ant Ranch.
Yes, Zoe Woodcraft.
Zoe, that's right. That's what I hung up on was Zoe.
Was it this? No.
Nope.
Wow, I suck at this. But yes, Zoe was at the Ant Ranch, and she was there for the first beginning of the years that I was there as a young child. What do you need, Fox? I'm almost done. 5 minutes, and then we're done. Okay. Zoe Woodcraft was there, and she was super. I was actually close with her. I remember her and my sister being quite close, and then I just liked her. I did message Zoe Woodcraft when I was like starting to get my wheels turned, and I was watching things on. I actually watched her mother's video, I think, about like how she got, and then I was like, oh, I know Zoe Woodcraft. I remember being like, oh, I wonder, she's still talking to her mom. So I did talk to her a little bit at that time, but yes, Zoe Woodcraft was at the Ant Ranch for like the first 2 or 3 years that I was there in 1991 or 2.
Freedom Bucko 5 says Astor was the reason my brother left the Sea Org. She put a bed in front of someone's door to prevent him from escaping, and it freaked him out, and he just joined.
Yeah. See, things like that. They try to normalize too quick, and Okay, any more? Do you see any more Gary Gares? See, I say Gary Gares because I feel like I made my own name for you. Only I can call you Gary Gares. Or I just say Jackson. I say, like when we're drinking, when we went out that night, remember when I was in Portland and we were out and all that delicious food, I would be like, Jackson, what do you want?
Yeah.
It was like that.
That was a good time. I actually, believe it or not, that's one of my stops on Sunday mornings is that very place that we hung out. So good. Yeah.
We got to go there. I'm going to come and visit you and do that again. Okay, any more? I'm gonna there's like some random ones. I'm just scrolling and maybe some are great.
Looking for anything that stands out.
I mean, we can just keep. Thanks, Roxy's sweet. Thanks heaps, Laura and Jax. I love your approach, Laura. Page right. I like how it doesn't say what it is. Put our little heart emoji there. Okay, I think that's all. Look, it's 6:59. We did it, Gary. We did 2 hours.
Wow.
I was like stretching it on the last 2 hours. I was like, oh my God, have I been on here too long? Yeah.
Yeah.
This is amazing. Thank you guys all so much for your support. I do want to say, remember to just keep track. If you type in SPTV on YouTube, hashtag anywhere, you're going to find any live streams coming up, people supporting other people in the community.
Duchess of Chug's kicking out a question here.
Yeah,
Laura,
go ahead.
Were you on the very young child inside? There you go.
Were you on the free wins? No, but hold on. And if so, were you the very young child who stood inside the dishwasher to do all the dishes?
That would be funny. That's something the Sea Org would
I don't know if that's a joke, but 100% we were doing that, washing vegetables and stuff at the Ant Ranch. Yes. Yeah, and some other things, but I won't go down a tunnel. But I'm sure it was a friend of somebody I know because all Scientologists know each other somehow. Any more? Oh, what's this one?
Don't know.
Oh yeah, it takes literally donation. Yeah, it's so cute. Okay, that's all. Boo Boo Cakes.
Yeah, don't see
All
that.
right. Any more questions? You can write them in the comments, or you can put them on the YouTube. You can go to LARA.fm, which is on the screen. I'm getting better and better at my website content, so there are some things I'm still working on. But if you need to get a hold of me, you need to send me anything, or you want to donate, or you want to do anything for now, just go to the website. That for now will be what I'm going to keep doing and have. And I really, really, really appreciate all the support. Like, it really warms my heart when I get a little bing and a boom, and it's just like, oh my God, I could do this. Oh, now I could do this. It's super supportive, and we've never had that. Like, we've never had people listening to us, fully respecting and understanding what we're saying and giving us the full benefit of the doubt. Like, it's really very the healing. That's the healing of it.
And heartwarming.
It's super heartwarming. It makes me want to be a better person. It makes me want to be the person that I am even more. Yeah. And Gary, thank you so much for immediately just being, of course, yes, I'll be there. I can do all that. And I would love to have you again, because it's very important, I feel, to have you, especially with other people that will come on doing what we're doing.
Yeah, it's my way of cheating the system by lack of time otherwise to produce my own video, because that takes a few hours. And
tell me about it.
Yeah. Yeah, because then I got to wait for it to upload and see to it that it gets just... Anyways, I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Yes.
We all are.
Yes,
and I love it. What I'm saying is I just love our work. I love all of our work individually. Yeah. I think that all of us as our own channels, as like the more we can figure out whatever way is best for us, then that's the way we got to do it. And again, I'm here for anybody's outreach or pour. I love it. It's support, it's like the infinity of just helping us all continue to breathe and get through this and be happy with all the outcomes.
That's right.
Love y'all. Check out the music, support, come see the show. Me and Serge Delmar, by the way, Serge Delmar does his art and singing and backups in LARA FM, our band. And we have a show July 20th at El Cid at 6 p.m. So if you want tickets, if you want to buy them, you can find them through the website and come see us live and come see the show. It'll break your heart in a very good way. And it'll, again, very therapeutic and also music that I've written and we've put this whole show together. Serge's husband helps me with the designing.
He's such a cool dude, man. Michael is just, I love that guy.
Sweetheart.
He is just an incredible
healing
being.
All of us. We're all healing each other. We're all just like showing each other, oh no, do it better. Like, this is a better way to do it.
Serge found him, I don't know, but I tell you, they were like the perfect guys. It just, just incredible.
Yeah. They're so beautiful. I love them. They're like my best friends. I love them. Incredible. Love. Okay. Love all y'all. Love you, Gary, Mr. Jackson. I don't care if you like it. It's okay, Gary.
I wonder if that's on the horizon to be in one of your songs, Mr.
Gary.
Jackson. Wouldn't that be funny shit?
Oh, we don't know the truth, but it's okay here because we got Jackson on the horizon, son. All right, my sweet angels. Right, I'll see you guys soon, and I'll see you soon too, Jackson.
Yeah.
And we'll have more people. Don't forget to go online and get your The Bad Cadet copy for tomorrow's interview with the... I
almost want to pull a Wayne's World intro, outro type thing.
Do it.
Anyway.
Okay.
Purple Groovy, I love that name, by the way. Purple Groovy 69 on top of it, but Purple Groovy.
I'm leading you out, guys.
All right.
We're going to lead you out. Bye, Gary. Love you. See you soon. Come visit soon. Subscribe, by the way. Oh, my God, I suck. Guys, subscribe. Please subscribe and like. And share this with your friends so that we can actually do this even better and better and better.
Yeah, okay. Thanks for being there, Goldie.
For everyone, you locked it down. Love y'all. Bye.
Somebody is searching for the right child. Somebody is telling you what's right. Now you're going to have to decide what you're going